Hi friends, we have some tea because, if you can tell by the title, something that I have tried not to talk about, I am finally talking about. Through my experience managing influencer marketing for both Nearpod and Flocabulary, I've quickly realized that teacher influencers don't have the resources like other influencers to navigate and talk about scary things like money. And in turn, do the best job in the collaboration process. This does not mean I'm talking about everybody. This just means you don't know what you don't know. And honestly, I would not know what I didn't know if I didn't actually do influencer marketing where my job was on the line, and if an influencer did not have the ROI, which means return on investment, that I invested in that influencer. To be honest, it's nobody's fault. Influencer marketing has only been around for a couple of years, so there is no standardization of best practice like email marketing or blogging or anything like that. So with that being said, here are the most common collaboration mistakes I've seen from influencers in general. So before we get started, if you're new here, hi, my name is Amber Calderon. I am a former teacher that hit 2 milestones on TPT in under 3 years. I now have over 5 years of ed tech experience. I've held tons of leadership roles in marketing across different verticals, and I am very grateful for the ability to weave my TPT teacher mindset with formal ed tech marketing experience. That is your advantage. So if this sounds something like you're interested in, then click subscribe. Okay, let's get into the tea. I kind of want to get comfortable with a blanket. Now, the first collaboration mistake I've seen is you have too many sponsored posts back to back. Look, I am so happy that you've been able to book so many sponsored posts. Love that for you. As a business, don't love that for me. And here's why. Do you ever notice that when you post a sponsored post, for some reason, engagement just dies and you're like, where are all my people at? I know, trust me, as the business person, I'm like, where are all your people at? When you post too many sponsored posts back to back without trickling in organic content, then your engagement is gonna die slightly. And for those businesses who have invested in you on your natural engagement, because you did not trickle organic posts in between, it's not like technically resetting, and then they're not getting that exact ROI that they wanted when they wanted to invest in you. Think about it like this. Even an Oreo has a sweet filling in between the two cookies. When companies do see too many sponsored posts back to back, where the engagement is also not that high, then the mindset from the business is, they're probably not generating that strong of an engagement and authority with their audience. And yes, vanity metrics count, but it's those conversion metrics that matter more, and we'll talk about that later. We want to make sure that your space doesn't feel like an ad, because the whole reason that we're working with you to begin with is because your page is not an ad. And we could invest in paid ads if we wanted to, but we're investing in you. So it's very important that the content doesn't look like that. So, number one, try to trickle in organic in between your sponsored posts. Do the people like me a favor. The next influencer collaboration mistake is something that I'm starting to find more and more, and it's that you're more interested in a transaction than a long-term partnership. Look, business is business, but what separates influencer marketing from other marketing channels is that it relies on a person sharing a story in an authentic way. You have to craft a narrative that takes your audience down a journey, so then they ultimately want to do the action that you hired them to do. You were not just hired to post a picture. You were posted to craft a narrative to your audience in a way that best resonates with them, so then they do the desired outcome of the goal, which we'll talk about campaign briefs later on. Think of the most expensive items in your home. How many times did it take you to be exposed to that item before you actually purchased? What are the things that you had to think about? What were the objections that you had before you took that plunge to purchase? People need to be exposed to something in some way about 15 times before they're ready to actually invest. And the same is true for influencer marketing. When you see a campaign, think about it as the beginning of a partnership of continuous collaborations. You'll not only drive higher engagement for your company, but in turn, other companies will see that high engagement, and as a result, they will want to work with you. Have you ever worked with someone once and you're like, why didn't they work with me again? I mean, let's have some self-reflection there, because I know that people that I absolutely know they drive ROI and they're easy to work with and they read the campaign brief and they do all those things, you better believe I work with them 5, 7, 15 times if I can, because it makes my life easier, right? I'm not trying to recreate the wheel every time. What's broke, don't fix it, right? This one can be really controversial for those in the influencer space. And as you know, what I'm doing, I put on my influencer hat and I put on my business hat. So I try to give you a happy medium of both. I understand some, you're like, yeah, I'll just post this, but you want to have that reoccurring brand income. And so being able to really work with them is going to just help you and your business model in the long run. We're gonna take a little tea. So the third influencer marketing mistake is that you promote brands that aren't relevant to your audience. There were many times that teacher influencers who were actually lifestyle influencers, they're posting their outfits only. You never see them post content. You never see them post anything about lesson planning. It's all what they're doing outside of the classroom and just their beautiful outfits in the classroom. That was the only relevant to teaching, and there's nothing wrong with that. I want to be very clear. But they would reach out to Nearpod and Flocabulary to try and be a part of our campaigns. Here's why that's a tad controversial, and it's nobody's fault. I just don't think people realize. Because I declined them immediately. Because again, my job is on the line to get the highest return on investment. So then when I report to my VP of marketing, so then I can hit my numbers and keep my job, I wanna make sure I pick the right candidates. When your accounts don't normally share those type of products that are in the realm into the brands that you wanna work with, the engagement is naturally going to be super low. And it's because that content to your audience is gonna come out of left field. If I all of a sudden started posting about aliens and UFOs and this telescope to my audience, that would make no sense because I don't normally post space or anything to that type of audience. I know that one's extreme, but just bear with me. Moral of the story is you and the company doesn't know how that content's going to resonate with your audience. So why should the brand be the one to assume that risk? Because you have 60,000 followers? Okay, please don't get mad at me for being super open about this. I'm really trying to help you so then you can get the best brand deals possible and advocate for yourself. This goes back to the long-standing partnership comment. If you're willing to share a series of posts in whatever form to prime your audience, then that's something that the brand can work with. Because a one and done scenario, it's not gonna drive clicks and the campaign will likely just fall flat. So a suggestion for this is if you don't actually know if the content's gonna resonate because you really haven't historically shared that, then you can say to them how I'm willing to do the first post at a reduced rate of X. Hopefully you'll see that my audience and as a result, we can continue the conversation for future posts. Or since this is new to my audience, and again, this is if you're pitching them, this could look like you working with the brand by reducing the first post to a specific discount so then they feel more like you are invested in wanting to work with them and also help meet them halfway. You could also share how you're willing to do a 2-post bundle with the first post being at a reduced rate and the second post being full price. And with that, they have to buy them together. And I want to be very clear, this is not just influencer marketing in general. I actually recently, last week, was on a call with a big ed tech publisher that sells their email list where we can basically put our content to their email list distribution. And I told them, I don't know how our content's gonna resonate and my job is on the line if I invest X amount of dollars into this. And they did the same tactic. We can do the first investment at X percentage off and the second one will be full price. However, we need to book, however, the second one will be full price. And this gets me more excited because I'm able to test with them without having to fully invest what would normally be because we want to see how it resonates. It's a really natural concept in marketing and business to do this, and most people don't talk about it, and that's why I'm finally doing so. Now, I actually already had tea before I filmed this. I want to be very clear. It wasn't just a prop, but now I'm kind of enjoying it. Also, I'm working myself up. I'm actually sharing things that I've been through. And if you're one of these people that have done this, it's okay, I don't fault you. But now that you know, let's tidy it up. So the next collaboration mistake is you don't actually know what the product does. I know. Or you think you do and you actually don't. This is actually a huge pet peeve of mine. If you are getting asked to promote a product, then you need to act like the business that you want to be. Take 15 minutes to really go through their website. Take 15 to 30 minutes to really play with their product, because it is so immensely apparent when somebody tries to sell anything on their channels and they don't actually know how it works, or they can't speak from a frame of reference. Now, to be fair, I know some of y'all are working with brands in a negative way where they're telling you exactly what to say and it doesn't sound authentic and it's just like complex and just like jargon. I totally get that. That's not your fault. However, you are an expert in speaking to your audience. I have taken brand deals from blogging where people will pay me to host blog posts on my website. And if I think a piece of content is not going to resonate with the audience, I speak up. And that's how I'm able to continuously get the same blogging brand deals over and over again, because I'm speaking from an expert frame of reference and they really value that because I'm basically doing part of the work for them. I know it's scary, but don't hesitate to try and interject when something doesn't feel right or might not feel right to your audience. I can't tell you how many times I signed contracts with teacher influencers who decided to work with Nearpod, and you could just tell they had no clue what Nearpod is. And the thing is, I swear if you just asked, if you were like, hey, I tried this, I'm really confused, can I hop on a call with you for 30 minutes? I would have been more than willing to do it. When you share that you know what you're doing or ask for specific resources, I promise you the brand is going to respect you a lot more. They're going to know you're invested and they're going to want to work with you time and time again. Yes, it's a business, but it is also a human on the other end that is just trying to make their lives easier just like you. So again, I have worked with so many people repeatedly because you just know they know. In line of making sure that you are acting like a business, and I hope that doesn't sound negative when I say it, I'm really trying to help people elevate their business. So when I say act like a business, I mean give you those tools to actually do so. And one of those is don't make the mistake of not reading the creative brief. Typically, when a brand decides to work with you, they will send over a creative brief that are essentially the guidelines of how you should promote the product. It is your job as the person being hired. You are basically a contractor. Yes, influencer is a fun word. You are a contractor. To read the creative brief in its entirety and ask questions when something does not make sense. That is your job. And I will say, not every single company is going to send you a creative brief. So if you haven't received one, that's okay. Just make sure that you and that person who represents the brand are in line about clear deliverables. Because if you don't read the creative brief or you don't have clear guidelines on what the goal is, then you run into the issue of dedicating time and resources, and time is a finite resource, to create a piece of media that doesn't align with the goal of the campaign. You see, every campaign has a goal, no matter what. And it's the type of messaging that they want to put into that piece of media and the direction, the call to action that they want the audience to take. They are hiring you to amplify that message. You are the megaphone. And if you don't read the creative brief, you're not gonna know what that message is. Now, like I said earlier, you know your audience best and you know what's going to resonate with them, so then they are more likely to take action. And again, it's not just likes and comments. Too many influencers get caught up in, oh, but it got 1,000 likes, it got 500 comments. Okay, but like only 2 people actually went to click the link to do the thing, right? I will say, as a marketer, I am constantly having to defend myself because, well, that sounds aggressive, but marketing in general, marketing does not always get the click metrics for attribution because they see your thing and then they go to Google and they type it in directly to do the thing. So then you don't get that direct attribution. I could talk about that for a while, but know that we do look at conversion metrics, and we can even look at conversion metrics in a window. You could say, oh, but yes, only 2 people clicked the link, but they probably all Googled. Well, on our end, we can actually go into Google Analytics and we can say, okay, let's just pretend in a 15-day window since this influencer posted, are there any major spikes? And then we can attribute those spikes to your content. But if there are no spikes and there are no clicks, there's no return on investment. And it's very scary. I understand. Or not scary, but like, you want to work with these people, and it's all the more reason to make sure that you're crafting really authentic content that resonates with your audience. The last influencer marketing collaboration mistake that I'm going to share is that you don't respond in a timely manner. And to be honest, it took me probably until this year to start responding in a timely manner. I struggled. Sometimes I was the business working with the influencer that didn't respond in a timely manner. So I want to just be very clear. It might sound like I'm talking, but we just have to be aware, right? I'm very aware. So I get it, okay? You're juggling a lot. You're teaching during the day as well as your side business and being a teacher, content creator. It's a lot to handle. If you want to be treated like a business and get those big business deals, then we have to act like it, you know, hashtag tough love. When it comes to that territory, managing your inbox, I've got you. Because responding to businesses in a timely manner is part of the job, I decided to offload that work to you by creating influencer marketing templates. These are tons of templates that you can use all throughout the influencer collaboration process. This goes as early on from pitching yourself to brands that you want to work with, to responding to brands that reach out to you, turning a gifted collab into a paid collab, how to ask for more time, negotiation email templates based on different scenarios, and also sharing data after the fact and following up post-campaign to see if there are any additional campaigns that you can be a part of. The link to the influencer collaboration templates are linked down below, and if you see anything on the list that you wished was added, let me know and I'm more than happy to add it to the templates. Don't let these influencer marketing collaboration mistakes happen to you. Comment below which influencer marketing collaboration mistake you're guilty of. I have definitely broken these, not only on the influencer side, but as the business side. And look, it's okay to make mistakes. It's important that we're aware so then we can do better. When we make changes to do better, we give the entire teacher influencer community a better reputation, which is going to support more collaborations for all of us. Thank you so much for watching this video. I am so excited to be back on YouTube, and I will see you in the next one.